Oh, wow. We're so back. We're so back. What's going on, everybody? I am your host, yours truly, Joseph Dunham. You are tuning in and watching another immaculate episode of the Good Service Podcast. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, welcome and thank you for watching and for listening. However this episode came across your desk, your headphones, your YouTube channel, whatever it is, we're glad you're here. High level, right? Who are we at the Good Service Podcast? We are your source for good news, wholesome stories, inspiring stories around the good services that nonprofit leaders and other service-based organization leaders, foundations, charities, fundraisers, you name it, that are making great things happen within their community for those that have less. Not only just to share the individual story of their founders, but also their origin stories of their organizations. So we're your one-stop shop for these incredible conversations, these lighthearted and just awesome moments of great things happening across the world. Those of you who keep coming back, who are part of our family, our community, we love you. We thank you. We would not be here without you. So thank you for the likes, the comments, the referrals, the reposts, the resharings across all social medias and things, the referring of other nonprofits and service-based organizations. Seriously, I say this time and time again because I believe it. I know it to be true. We would not touch all four corners of this world without you all. So thank you to our family, to our audience, to our community. But enough about us, right? We're here to talk about someone that is super dope. She is amazing. I am talking about Miss Abby McKiernan, a mompreneur of four. Abby is the founder of nonprofit Spark in the Dark and a for-profit company, Helplink. Abby has spent the last 8 years dedicated to making sure that everyone has somebody in their time of need. One thing I love about Helplink, and she's going to dive more into this, but really empowering companies to be more forthcoming about giving. So in this conversation, we'll discuss the biggest challenges people face when seeking support, how Helplink is making a difference, and what we can all do to help those within our community get the resources they need and drive and push for social impact together. So let's jump in. Abby, welcome to the Good Service Podcast.
Well, thank you, Joseph. I always get a little weird and a little blushy when I get introduced, but it is always cool to kind of hear yourself from the perspective of others, if that makes any sense.
It definitely makes sense. And I see you there. But yeah, you're going to get your flowers through and through this entire episode. And so get ready to be all flushy and all the things and ooey gooey, right?
I wore the wrong blazer for this. Dang it,
well,
should have gotten the black one.
It's all good. Listen, you're stunting, you're profiling, you got it. Look good, feel good, play good. You got all three, sister.
Love it.
I love the plum blazer.
I'll take it.
Won't we?
Plum blazer will match my face as the flowers are given.
So y'all better watch this so you can see some of the expressions. We're going to cry. We're going to have a good cry. Someone tells me a couple tears may be shed today. But no, how did Abby and I meet? Shout out to Podmatch. Podmatch is a platform that will connect podcasters to potential guests that matches them based on what they do, right? Or if you want to be on someone else's show, we'll match you to that particular show, right? And it's from you two to have a discussion on if it makes sense or not. And voila, magic. Abigail and I are here. So shout out Podmatch. Appreciate you. But, in my heart, this was God all the way through and through. So thank you, Amen. God, for ensuring that our paths cross, to partner, to connect, and to support one another. So, with that, I would like to take a moment just to share a little bit more in depth on Spark in the Dark and Helplink. And we're going to dive in and get to know who Abby is. So Spark in the Dark, since 2017, Spark in the Dark is a nonprofit organization that connects individuals in need to those who help through peer-to-peer resources, sharing network. They have a 30,000 member and growing cohort, right? Community, family, if you will, with at least 18 volunteers across the state of Michigan. They've been able to work together to connect over 100,000 needs to solutions since beginning. Spark schools to empower people to help each other directly, anytime, anywhere. Helplink. We're going to piece this together, right? Helplink. So from Spark in the Dark to Helplink. So we're going people to people, now company to people. Helplink, having had such success helping communities connect to one another in times of need with Spark, it only made sense to move into giving businesses the tools and insights they need to maximize their social impact while enhancing their reputation and fostering a culture of giving within the organization and community. As a co-founder of Helplink, Abigail is passionate about streamlining corporate giving. Their platform enables businesses to support local causes aligned with their values while ensuring that their employees are getting their needs met first before donations go into the broader community. So with that, Abigail, mompreneur for business savant from the nonprofit side, the for-profit side, where does your story begin? How did you get here?
Man, it is a lovely tale actually of God. So that works out well. I have been a giver for my whole life. I have been a very tender-hearted person, which I pick on my mother all of the time because she has been telling me since I was 5 that my soft-hearted nature and my big mouth were probably just going to continue to get me in trouble over and over again in life. And now my ability to speak and my big giant heart are the two things that have really built me an entire career, right? So starts way back before I could control it. I think actually in the prayer before we started, you had said something to the effect of like, this path was laid for us long before we were born, right? And when I look at my childhood and my upbringing, like it really was pretty well laid out to, see how I got here based on who I was, even as a tiny one. So, that being said, how I actually started Spark was in 2016. My life was a train wreck. It was, life was going all wrong. I think we've all been there. I was constantly stressed out. I had a job that paid me well, but I was wildly unsatisfied with what I was doing. There was really no heart, no soul, nothing that lent itself really to my personality. And then I was getting out of kind of a messy relationship that left me super isolated. And I needed help getting out of that situation. And I looked around one day and realized that I didn't have anybody to help me, right? I had closed myself off in such a way that there was nobody when I needed them. And so I decided I was in a rut and that I needed to change that. And I decided to ask myself, where do people say that objectively they find change and they find hope and they find purpose? And like, right, when you hear these tales of like, man, this saved my life, you most often hear it started at church, right? I feel like that is the most common beginning to tales of redemption. So I knew who God was. I was quite familiar. I just didn't always agree with his choices. So I usually tried to stay away from church for that reason because it made me a little uncomfortable and I didn't always align with maybe the people of church. So anyway, I decided to try something new and I found myself at a church that I kind of picked from the Google search of churches near me. Went, that one will do. I showed up to this church on a hill in the middle of kind of nature because I live in, upstate Michigan where it's more woods than people. And I show up to this church and it leads me to a women's Bible study, which if I thought church made me feel out of place, holy cow, Batman, a women's Bible study where a whole bunch of opinionated ladies are talking about something that I'm not sure on was like the worst. That was like it was my nightmare. That's so bad to say. It's not my nightmare anymore, but when I started, it was my nightmare.
Yeah.
So I drug myself in with every ounce of energy and hope that I had left, and there was not much of it. So I dragged myself into this women's Bible study. I tried to leave like 4 times. I'm not even going to lie. I'm walking down the hallway. I'm like, now's the time. Turn around. Get out of here. But like, I would go to leave and I would bump into someone literally, or I would drop my phone, or someone would start talking. I was like, I'm not getting out of here. This is it. I have to be here. Clearly, I am a prisoner of my own making. So I go into this Bible study and it changed my entire life and my entire trajectory. Not even from the Bible study itself, but from the conversations at the table. I had heard these 2 women talking about how this younger girl talked to an older girl and told her about how she had been sleeping under a bridge for a year. And then she'd been sleeping in her car, and how she had finally saved up enough money to buy an apartment. And she was telling this woman, like, I did it all by myself. I didn't need anybody. I toughed it out. I pulled myself up by the bootstraps. I am staying in this apartment, and, you know, I only have my coat as a blanket to sleep. That's all I own: my apartment, my car, and my coat. And right, but she was so proud of doing it by herself.
Yeah.
And so this woman she's never met, all of a sudden out of nowhere, says, you know, I've got a bed set in my garage for years. I keep saying I'm going to sell it. I never do. I'm going to have my husband bring it over to your new apartment. Like, where do you live? And all of a sudden, this super strong, beautiful girl starts bawling. And she starts crying. And she says, no, friends and family have given up on me. Nobody has been willing to help me in the last year. Everyone has walked away. I don't even know you. Why would you help me? And this woman responded with, because I can. And that was it. And that was the whole because I can with a period. Boop. And I went home thinking like, all right, I don't know what church is all about. I don't always feel like I know what God is all about, but I know what that was all about, right? Like what a powerful and beautiful act of humanity on both sides. The vulnerability to even share the story, and then the ability to come back with like, here's how I can help right away. No hesitation. Don't know you don't care. I've got it and I can give it. And I was overwhelmed. I went to bed that night. I had what I call my God dream. Everybody has different, phrases for that. For me, it was very much like me and God on a bench. And I was given a real specific mission of like, hey, like connect people. Don't worry about anything else. Just show up, connect people with the goal of helping. I'll do the rest. And thank goodness, because every time I had an idea, I feel like it went the opposite direction and went his way instead. And so I woke up thinking like, I know how to connect people. I got the internet. I'm going to start a Facebook group, and I'm going to put 50 people in it. 25 that I know need help, 25 that I know could help if they needed it. And, as the entire story of Spark plays out, perfectly in alignment, the 25 people that I thought for sure could help were the 25 that needed help the most. And the 25 people that I thought for sure needed help were the most likely to help. And I started it with 50 people, thinking I'd help 2 or 3 and that I'd feel better and that I'd create this community. I woke up, there were 350 people. There's now 32,000, and we grow by, almost 15, 20% every single year in members. And as you said earlier, we've connected 100,000 needs to solutions since we started, which is mind blowing to me because I thought I was going to help 5. The first person we helped was a diabetic guinea pig, and that was cool to me. I was like, yes, we helped Angel the guinea pig, and I feel so good about it. Love it. The guinea pig's name was Angel. I just thought of that. That's so funny. It's a funny one. Funny. I totally missed that until right now. It's taken me 8 years to realize he gave the guinea pig a fitting name. Even guinea pigs' lives are planned before us.
Right.
So, sorry, I ramble a little bit, but the origin tale of Spark is so deeply rooted in God, in church, and in not church as a building, but church as a people. Right? So there you go. I don't get to give the full story very often, Joseph. And I always like when I can give it to someone who appreciates it the way I do.
Yeah.
Because it changed me forever, which is what I came in asking for, and blessing and a burden some days. But like, I came in and that's what I asked for, and that is what I got. Like, oh, good, you're ready for your mission, is what it felt like that morning. Like, I woke up and was like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
What do I
Ask
do?
and you shall receive.
It's careful.
There's life in the tongue and there's death in the tongue. Be careful what you wish for. Be careful what you pray about. Be careful about what you say. Your words matter. Sticks and stones
They
may not break
hold
my
so much
bones,
weight.
but like words are
Nope.
powerful. Powerful. We're powerful beings.
You know, Joe, that I go around the country speaking about the power of communication. Funny enough, that is my one of my main speech at business events, is the ability to create culture or kill it with words.
Oh, we're going to have a blast. I'm a wordsmith. I study communication management, right? So it's more of the psychology of communication in business and society. People are like, man, so there's a lot of psych, there's a lot of writing papers, there's a lot of marketing. And people always like, wait a second, like you study people? This makes sense. And I'm like, well, yes, but no, like don't. How I even got there was because of Mad Men. So it's a crazy story. We don't have the time for, but it's Don Draper's fault. Minus the misogyny and infidelity, it's Don Draper's fault. Shout out to my advisor. Huh?
I said, I like it. I blame him.
Yeah, it's his fault. It's Joe Ham's fault. But no, in all seriousness, Abby, such a beautiful story. Where you having that moment with yourself and being like, hey, I'm gonna put myself out there. Right? There's the old cliche of life starts in the uncomfort zone, right? Like you can't grow when you're comfortable, right? You got to get outside the comfort zone, and that's where life begins. Right? And where rubber meets the road, right? Preparation and opportunity.
Endless. I was just gonna say, there's endless versions of that, and it's so true because it's so easy to stay. I mean, I could have stayed in my cushy job. I could sometimes I feel like God's usually kicking me off the cliff. Like, all right, like I gave you the wings. Like, don't worry. But boy, oh boy, every moment, no matter what, when you got to take that first step off the edge and like have the faith, it never gets easier. It never gets less scary. I've never fallen. I've fallen, but like just enough to learn my lesson.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right. He's let me fall just far enough that I'm like, okay, I take it back. We'll do it your way.
It's really his way or the highway.
It's hard. Seriously. I was just talking to someone about how I feel like when you're on the right path and you're moving in the right direction, the roadblocks kind of naturally move away, right? And you'll notice it's easier to get over them, or suddenly a solution comes around. And when you're in the wrong direction, I feel like every roadblock, maybe it's just me because I'm always looking for signs and I'm always looking for, right? Some of them are made up in my head. I'm like, I don't want to go out there today. It's cold. I shouldn't go. It's winter. Not a real excuse.
Right. Right.
But it feels like there's less tension on the right road. Which is always kind of an indicator for me these days.
Mm-hmm. Smooth is good. We can appreciate that. Okay, so that's how.
Just enough bumps to keep it interesting.
Yeah, for sure. So we started with Spark in the Dark. That's peer to peer, person to person. Someone in the community that you know or don't know. And beautifully, people were able to show up and do because they can, do because they wanted to. How did you then say, hey, let's get corporations involved and corporate giving involved? When did that all take place for you as Spark in the Dark was blowing up? Now 32,000 members, over 100,000, donations and just actions of support and love. And now Helplink. When did you have that epiphany and aha moment of let's go after corporations and get them involved too?
Yeah, it was kind of a few different things. I would say for me, it started at a party I was hosting. And there was a gentleman at the party who owned a manufacturing company. And he was talking to a friend and he was, complaining and frustrated and airing those frustrations about how he had hired this guy that he really, really liked a lot. And this guy had always been a pretty good worker. And then he was talking about how he had to fire him. And he had to fire him because he kept no call, no showing. And like, that's a big no-no in their company because in the manufacturing world, if you miss a shift, it really creates chaos for the rest of the company because you got to shift so many things and so many people, and certain people are trained on certain things. Anyway, it's a nightmare. And so they have a very hard no call, no show policy. And he was so upset that he had to fire, and everyone's lazy and nobody wants to work, right? We've all heard the tale before when people are complaining, especially on the internet, about people working. And I just so happened to know because this man had said the employee's name. I just so happened to know that he had been on Spark in the Dark, actually. And he was trying to find a ride because he had a flat tire. And he had gotten a ride for like 10 days. People were helping him and giving him a ride as he was trying to get his car fixed. And then, of course, the day came where he couldn't, right? Like that's the rides run out at some point. You need the real solution to become a parent because you can't just keep kind of filling in the difference and hoping people can help because it's just not the way it works, right? So help ran out. He still had no tire. And I didn't know how the story ended until the man at my party and, complaining about his employee. And so I very boldly, perhaps too brazenly, if you will, walked over and was like, I don't think you have a $10,000 rehiring problem. I think you've got a $400 tire problem. Want to know why? And then I casually slid him my phone where his employee was asking for help. I was like, you didn't see it from me, right? Like if you want your company to do well, I suggest that you buy this man tires, right? He worked so hard for weeks trying to get to work. And it's hard to ask for help publicly. And Spark does that on purpose, right? We live in a glass house and it's tricky and it's tough and it's humiliating a little bit sometimes to have to ask for help, but it keeps us humble and it keeps us thankful and it keeps us grateful. I know from personal experience from all the times I've had to bite my lip and ask for help, even though I feel like I'm too cool for that. So this man ended up buying tires for the employee. That was a few years ago now. And as far as I know, that guy still actually works at this company and is one of its like biggest cheerleaders, right? And it became apparent to me that, of the 100,000 needs we've met, probably 30,000 of them were related to, I need to get to work, I need to find work, or I need to keep my job, right? And whatever barrier was between work and them. And it's rarely a big thing. It's usually a gas card or a pair of work boots or a $2,000 car repair. And I have enough background in the corporate world to realize like it's expensive to rehire people. It is expensive to train people. You lose tried knowledge every time somebody quits and leaves and turns around. It's awful. It's awful for everybody. It's awful for HR, bad for morale, just bad. So I had to believe that, if a company knew that a $50 gas card was the reason that they had to fire someone, they're probably much more likely to pay for that gas card, right? Because it just makes sense. And so Helplink was born in my head. And then I, as God would have it, met my business partner, Dan, who's a software developer, and reached out to me because he was a Spark member. And he reached out to me and said, hey, I've got a really cool idea. Can I buy you a coffee? I would love I'm a fan of Spark. We've donated through Spark, but I got some ideas that I think can make it better. And I was like, all right. So I get coffee. I meet Dan, and he's starting his nonprofit called Valo, which was a volunteer software platform that did a lot of what Spark did, but solved a lot of Spark's problems, like no call, no shows and, people overtaking and bad actors and things like that. By the end of the 2-hour coffee, I talked Dan into not building his own thing, but to build our thing together instead, in a way that combined his deep knowledge of software and development in all things organizing and all of my years of failing forward and tripping and all the things I had learned from Spark, having built it and run it. So we decided we were going to save each other each years of work. And now here we are with Helplink. And it's awesome. And it's going so well. And it's gotten even better recently since we talked last, Joseph.
Shout out Dan for the coffee.
Shout
out Dan for the coffee. Like I got some well, pick your brain. I'm doing this. Shout out to you for being like, check this out, Dan. I actually just last night at this dinner party I had or this soiree I had.
Collaborate.
Let's collab. Let's get in the lab and collab.
And you know what's even better is Dan goes to the church that started Spark. Like it's now under a different name, but it's the same building, same church that he goes to, and that is where literally Spark was born. Was at that women's church group that Dan goes to. So,
I mean,
what are the chances?
I can't believe in chance. Bad luck, happenstances, things like none. Like, come on, it was written.
Do you want more? Do you really want it to be written? Can I lay on the secret? More. Give the people more. I will, and this is a secret right now, but it won't be a secret when it airs. So all of this, so Helplink's going awesome. Everything's going great. We're getting companies to sign up. People are pumped. Suddenly I've got SHRM meetings and Chamber of Commerce. I mean, I'm all over the state this month speaking about Helplink and all over. And so it's crazy. It's crazy. This next 5-6 weeks is bonkers for me and continues to fill up, right? Things are going great. We're getting ready to take out a loan as a business, as Helplink the business, to kind of kickstart us and get us going, right? Because we got to be able to pay ourselves and pay for marketing and do all the things. And Helplink's been awesome, but there's been a lot of roadblocks. It's been roadblock. Like, heck, now we got to do this and the government. And anyway, we get a hard roadblock January 20th. Hard roadblock of like, hey, by the way, because nothing like you exists right now, the government decided to label us as a money transmitter, which essentially means that you're holding money for someone and spending it on their behalf, which is fine. That's a company. That's like a designation. Yeah. But it's a real expensive designation. You got to have a $500,000 assurance bond in like every state. It's crazy. It is not viable when your mission is to help people, not to make bank and cash out. Right. And so we were like in this position of like, oh gosh, what do we do? A whole bunch of things kind of came through. Want to know what the best solution was, Joseph?
What?
For Spark to buy Helplink. So now Spark and Helplink have merged together to become one nonprofit so that we can now actually help people nationwide better, easier, and faster than we could have separately. So as of the time this airs, Helplink and Spark in the Dark will be one organization with one mission moving forward. So, and it was literally the only road. It was the only option. And to make it all so much more confusing, in 2018, Helplink was a nonprofit not run by me. I worked for a nonprofit called Helplink. And when they closed their doors, they gifted me the name in hopes that I would one day bring it a new life, right? And so, don't even think it's so good. It's so good. I didn't tell you all the story because I felt like it was better live. Sorry, rude. So in 2018, I worked for an organization called Helplink. And I was their program manager and I worked really hard on the logo and all these things. And their whole goal was navigating people through tough times. So when they had to close their doors in 2018, pretty suddenly, my only life anchor was to start working for Spark in the Dark full time because I had kids and I didn't know what else to do. And we had a little bit of money, just enough to pay me for 6 months while I figured it out.
Yeah.
That was in 2018. And then I worked full time for Spark until 2022, 2023. But it started because Helplink closed suddenly. And my only option was to work on Spark. And now here we are in 2025. And suddenly Helplink had to close right before it was supposed to start paying me. And so we had to join forces in a more powerful way that allows God's mission to kind of keep moving forward through the new thing. But had he told me 2 years ago, like,
come on.
I know. So good. God for the win. He's
so good. Oh my.
And I think we had to build Helplink as a for-profit in our minds, right? I think in order to like really make it sustainable, because you got a different mindset when you go nonprofit versus for-profit. Like you just do when you're building it. So we spent 2 years developing this crazy technology that is incredible and also makes enough money to be sustainable on the other end. And so now what we have is this wildly driven nonprofit that never made any money and was always super focused on helping. And now we have the technology to make it so that we can make it our career and we can make it so that we can just work on helping people, right? And I don't think we could have done that. And I don't think we would have built it the same the last 2 years had that not started the way it started, if that makes any sense.
It makes all the sense in
That's
the
just
world.
over here pulling on
gosh. I mean, what a story. I don't know about y'all. I mean, if you're watching this, you obviously see like my face and you know how animated I am. It's just who I am. It's just what happens. And like, yeah, sister was definitely withholding a lot of information. We had a great conversation like 2-3 weeks ago. And she didn't say anything about any of this. I mean, of course I was wild, but like still, like to hold your card so close and well, how dope. Yeah. Okay.
Well,
my face hurts. I'm so happy for you.
You reached out to me 1 week after Spark and Helplink decided to go together too. And I was like, oh, perfect.
Let's go. Yes. Come on.
Good. The
Beautiful.
kingdom.
I mean,
it's funny. Isn't it crazy? The more I talk about it, the more I think about it and like meditate on it. I'm like, man, what are the way the pieces aligned can only be God.
The whole Helplink thing, you didn't tell me about you working at Helplink, and then Helplink was a prior thing before, and they gave you the name like this. Oh my goodness. I mean, come on. This made my day. I hope this makes y'all's day or night or morning, whenever you see, listen, watch all the things. Because wow, like what an incredible story. Oh my gosh. And like, time out.
So good.
I need to come back to the whole dinner party situation. Like the fact that you like walked over to a homeboy and was like, listen, I know some things that you don't know and you need to know them. And this is a great man that just has it's always one little thing. It is always one little thing. And I couldn't agree more. I love that. I love that you did that. Like knowing you or, the conversations we've had. Well, of course you did that. I gotta expect nothing less of you, Abby. But to hear like the real time, this has happened. He gets rehired. He gets the new tires and has still been there. Like, come on, y'all. There's so many good things happening in the world all the time. All the time.
It's so easy. So easy to overlook. I think it's because I've spent 8 years watching. I mean, I see the whole cycle. I see the moment somebody's car breaks down to the moment they lose their job, to the moment they become homeless, to then trying to find a tent. And then and sometimes it takes years from the car breaking down to get back to a spot where they even have a house. And I hate it. It kills me. It crushes my soul because I know what happens next. And so you are very right. It's very in my personality to be like, hey, by the way, here's a different perspective, just a thought, because I've never been able to leave well enough alone. I just can't help but think that, man, if you only knew, you would see it my way, or you would you would be driven, if not out of the kindness of your heart, in this case, by your bottom line. Like, you must, like, no matter the reason, at the end of the day, the best thing any company can do is take care of their team. It's good for the team. It's good for the bottom line. It's good for the company. Like, you have no company without people. You just don't. So let me get on my soapbox.
No. We're here now. We've been here. You had me in tears a moment ago. I don't know if you saw that or not, but I was definitely welling up and a few streaming down my face. I'm an emotional guy, emotional being.
Listen, it's not even a good presentation if I don't make somebody cry. It's a rule.
That was your whole objective today. Okay.
Because I obviously haven't communicated the story powerfully enough if it doesn't move you to tears, because it took me 6 years to not cry when I tell the Spark origin story. Truly. 6 full years of, I'm like, I tell this once a week and I'm still over here bawling. It's fine.
Yeah. It's so good though. But you said it right. I have a background, like when I first graduated, I was an IT recruiter, and then I saw that as like it was very sales based, how everything's structured there. I'm not going to give the name of the company. I won't get sued, but great company, massive company. Things were great until they weren't great. But I was in a position to serve others, right? To help them take that step in their career. And then I get promoted to where now I have the relationship with the hiring manager at whatever companies. And then again, like, pulling everybody up, opening the doors, all those things. And this is a long-winded way of getting here, but I am a massive believer in the most complex issues have the smallest and simplest answers. Business. Yeah. I love business. I love reading business journals. I love, little articles here and there. Like I nerd out on this stuff, right? This whole thing of life is so easy. We just got to take care of each other. And what's business made of? People. You take care of the people take care of the business. You pay them well, you treat them like they're people and have things going on in life, not just a number or a cog in a machine. And let me tell you what's going to happen. Everyone's going to be happy. It's going to be utopian. It's going to be, successful. And what you said earlier, like, I've seen it as well. Some of my consultants being like, hey, I'm on a 6-month contract to hire. I have this thing going on in life. This is going to impact. And it's like me being the middle person to connect with the hiring manager. Like, hey, listen, this is going on. But also, you're the hiring manager and you also have the team you're hiring for, your bottom line, right? Like, it just, I couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more. And that's what's wrong with corporate today is everyone's just a number when that's not the case.
Well, and I think I talk to a lot of manufacturers because they have a lot of employees that tend to be at a lower base salary pay. And so they tend to have more issues because of that and in turnover. And I've talked to plenty that are older and plenty that are younger. And it used to be that you didn't really have to treat people in any kind of way because there were so many other people that wanted that job that the moment one left, boom, another one was in. It was like a manufacturing line. You just turned and burned and it was fine. And obviously that's not the world we live in. Manufacturing in particular has a 5.4 million worker shortage in the next 2 years. And so you can't afford look at retail, look at food, look at restaurants. Like, you can't afford to lose the staff you have. So you frankly have to behave in a manner that makes people want to stay. And I don't want to stay somewhere that I'm not cared about. I just don't. And I think I speak probably for most people at this point. Like, I don't live in spaces where I'm not valued anymore. I'm too old for that, right? So when you want A players expect to feel valued, and you should be valuing every one of them because everybody is valuable. Ask that guy, right?
Yeah, right. Ask that guy, right? Oh, you're good. You're good. I knew this right.
He's got some things to say about it. He wrote a whole book.
Yeah, a whole book of a very detailed book that is
been a bestseller since it came out, I feel like.
I was about to say the same thing, sister. Oh, you are hilarious.
Eat your heart out, Adam Grant.
Hey, Adam Grant is also great too.
I was like, I love Adam Grant.
Yeah,
I just happen to have his book on my.
What are you reading by Adam Grant right now?
The originals.
Oh, very nice.
It's
It's on my
very
list.
interesting. Actually, it's about founders, and it's very fun to learn about the underdogs that like came in and took the market out of nowhere. So, as someone
Mhm.
that's always founding things, and whether that's building babies or building companies, I feel like I can
Well, you
usually
are a
really
mother of
relate to
four.
them.
That makes sense. The building babies.
Yes.
I'm reading Option B by Adam Grant and Sandy Sandberg. So she's now, or
Ooh.
she was appointed the CEO of Meta. Yeah,
Okay.
it's a story of
I'm
resilience.
gonna
It's
have to
good.
look that up.
It's good. And of course, Adam Grant has his Adam Grantness in it. So I probably have like 100 pages left. Should probably knock that out this week because I have some more books I'm gonna read. But I love that you're also reading Adam Grant. Of course, no surprise. Um,
He's a good one.
wow, amazing. Okay, let's get into it. It's time to get into it. Mind, body, and soul.
All right, we're in.
Everybody, listen. If you're here for the first time, what mind, body, and soul is,
Well,
it's
listen.
it's supposed to be a rapid fire. Let's get to know the guest a little bit deeper on a more fun side, less heartstring pulling sort of. Yeah, but I failed miserably because it just ended up being another great conversation that we had within the show, within the conversation. So, uh, uh,
But,
I have like a billion questions for you. I've done a lot of research
oh,
on who you are, mompreneur, for baby builder, business builder herself. Uh,
I'm so good at the first one, man. I'm great at building babies. I just think they keep turning out, and I like them
let's
all. So
I
just
mean,
keep
it's a
doing it.
beautiful thing. It's a
I know.
beautiful thing. Talk about your kids real quick.
I joke that they're my incubators. I'm like, look, I got 4 successful incubators under my belt.
I am screaming, yo. Unreal. 4 successful incubators. Oh my goodness.
How many
You
people
should
can say that?
you should think about doing stand-up sometime. I don't say that to a lot of people. Usually I tell them don't quit your day job. But you could, I'm sure you could have
Yeah,
Michigan rocking and maybe get a
I
Netflix special, then have some,
think a lot of
I,
people are in trouble if I start doing stand up. I know a lot of things, man. I got a lot of secrets.
hey, listen, the truth comes to light. We know this, and we can laugh about it. If you can't laugh at yourself or situations, well, hey, I don't want to know you. Um,
Amen. I agree. I'm gonna say amen along this whole meeting.
okay. Where does
All
your
right, I'm
heart to
ready.
serve come from? I feel like I'm really curious, like if you can pinpoint it from that big heart and that big mouth you had as a 5-year-old, but like really, where does that heart to serve come from?
You know, I have, for as joyful and as light as I come across, right? In fact, lots of people like to call it naive, which is very funny. I'm very far from that, right? My kindness is not meekness. However, I have seen some things. I've had a lot of life, and a lot of it has not been good. And so, I mean, everything from my dad dying of alcohol poisoning when I was 12 to being a single mom. I mean, I was a teenage mom, actually. I had my first son who's 18 when I was 17. Weird. Weird to have him be older than I was when I had him. um, I was homeless. I've lived in my car. I have, I moved out when I was 15. And there's, it's the list goes on, and not to, necessarily dive into that because I have a great relationship with my family now. But my life was not easy growing up, and it was filled with turmoil, and it was filled with crappy situations where I had to choose worse or worst, right? And
Mm,
it is not hard for me to see how people get into situations that are less than ideal. It's not hard for me to see how people end up homeless. It is not hard for me to see how people end up addicted. It is not hard for me to see how people end up in prison or jail or, you know, alone as a single parent with 6 kids. It's not, I have lived it all, and therefore I can empathize, I think, with it all. And so for me, I try to be what I wish I would have had, if that
yeah.
makes sense, right? I'm trying to build what I wish would have existed when I needed it most. And so when I wake up every day And there are plenty of days that I wake up and I'm like, I don't want to help anyone today. I just want to be selfish. I don't want to do it. Right. Or I'm like, I'm so tired. This is a burden. It's heavy. It's a heavy weight to carry, everybody's struggle. It is. It is a heavy, heavy thing to wake up to 20 or 30 messages or posts of people struggling. But it is also a very good reminder of where it came from. And it is a very good reminder that everybody doesn't have to fight quite as hard to get through it, right? If they just had somebody willing to do and navigate that. So I think my heart to help comes because of that, because I've been there and I know that it sucks. And I wish, I would have had that. Go. Whew, mind, body, and soul.
Yeah, we get into it here at the Good Service. No, that's beautiful. For you to be the change you want to see, or that you wish you had.
Amen. That's exactly what it is. Be the change.
You've done it. You've been doing it. You're doing it well. Damn it, sister, keep going. Right. You're impacting so many, and more than probably the fruits of your labor. So keep working. And you have full support from the Good Service Podcast and myself.
Appreciate that.
On how we can help you and your impact, whatever that is, you and Dan, you and the family. Even that's a cheer all the way from Atlanta, Georgia, up north to Michigan.
My poor children. My children have to live with me, Joseph, and so funny, digressing entirely, my 18-year-old the other day, out of the blue, because one of his friends said something ignorant or arrogant, and it prompted my kid to call me and to thank me. It's like, you know what I appreciate, Mom? When I would come home complaining about a bully or complaining about a teacher or whatever, he's like, every single time my whole life that I've ever had a complaint about a human, the first thing you have always said to me is, well, what are they going through? Right. And he's like, and you always just would go on and make up 20 or 30 different stories about what could be happening in their home. And you always encouraged me to, instead of approaching them with hate and resentment because of how they were treating you, you always taught me to ask them, right? Just ask them what their life was like and try to be kind to them and see what happened if I took their anger and turned it into kindness and and returned love instead of hate. And he's like, and it has paid off time and time again in my life. It's and I'm just so thankful that when somebody is unkind to me, I know that it's not about me. And I have the foresight to understand that maybe they have a struggle that they need help with, or that they are burdened with, that I might be able to assist. And he's like, I just think it's really cool that I have that built into me, that you have been beating into me since I was a child. I'm like, oh, good. So keep that one, right?
Keep that one. Absolutely. Keep that for life. Also, child services.
Keep that one and the other kids.
Also, child services. I don't believe Abby's actually beating any of her children.
Yeah, not real beating. Just mental toughness and love. I'm just trying to build character.
Wow. Yes. Character development. Mom is always right. What is the saying? Mom knows best, but grandma's always right. So that's Mom knows best. Mom knows best. No, but I love, right, that you got that phone call. You guys have the relationship you do. I'm close with my mother. I'm sure she's gonna watch this or listen to it. So hey, Mom, what's up, baby?
Hi, Joseph's mom. Good job, nailed it. Congratulations on your successful incubator.
She is. I'm gonna make sure she watches this because she's gonna love that. Congratulations on your successful incubator. That is something that I'm not ever going to never for. I'm gonna have for the rest of my life. Your successful incubator.
You're gonna look at humans totally different.
Completely. What's your definition of good service?
Oh, My definition of good service.
I'm compiling a whole definition of
Oh, I
good
love
service book. It's going to have your face by
it.
it and your definition.
That's a lot of pressure. Now I'm going to be in a book. Dang it. I think good service is any service. I think sometimes we get into our head that we don't got enough to give. And if we don't have enough to give, we shouldn't give it all, right? We shouldn't do any act of service if we can't commit to an hour every single week at the food pantry. Like, no, my friend. Like, any act of service is a good act of service. And don't overthink it, right? So I think that's it. Any act of service is a good act of service, my friend.
Okay.
Right.
Finish
I
this.
was going to say write that down, but you're already doing it.
Oh no, yeah, it's already, at whenever that book comes together and the whole, one day there's going to be a whole month in the calendar year. I don't know which month yet. It'll we'll talk to God about it. But it's going to be the good service month, right? Where it's just like every day, what's your definition of good service? Boop, and there's going to be Abby and her definition and what's going on since our conversation in the very first episode and maybe the next episode when I'm at the Helplink headquarters, or I pop up on stage.
I'm on a mission to meet 5 million needs in the next 5 years. Or I'm sorry, 1 million needs in the next 5 years. Just so you know. So,
all right.
In 5 years when we talk, I'll have met 1 million needs, or I had a hand in them.
Excellent. It's on and it's up. It's on and it's up. Finish the sentence for us. The world would be a better place if.
Everybody had somebody in their time of need. I'm building, right?
I love it. On brand for sure. On brand for sure.
And I mean it.
Okay. Are you green and growing, or are you ripe and rotting?
This is my favorite quote.
I know it is.
Did I said it to you, right?
No.
No. Oh, snap. Oh, I love that so much. I painted that on a canvas once because I was so in my mind about life. I am always green and growing, my friend. And that is another annoying thing I say to my kids all the time.
Why is that okay, in my research, right?
Beautiful. Oh, you sneak. You didn't even chat GPT it. You had to dig for that one.
Oh, yeah. I told you.
I like you. You're a researcher.
I do what I can. Why is that your favorite quote?
Oh, it's so good. It's such a good visual. It rhymes, and I really like rhymes, right? I'm in PR, I'm in marketing. It has a way of sticking in your head, but it's such a good visual in so many levels. Because the only way you can be green and growing is if you are digging and planting, right? You cannot have a crop and you cannot have a healthy seed without doing the appropriate things. And so if you are ripe and rotting, something has gone terribly awry. You've stopped fertilizing, you've stopped watering, you've neglected something vital to the nurturing of this plant or your soul, right?
Yeah.
If you are green and growing, that means that you're on the right track and you're doing things in a way that are going to provide and bear fruit later in life. And it's just one of those things that I read really young and never left my head. I have, fun fact, 52 houseplants because everyone brings me their dead, dying plants and asks me to revive them, and then they end up living with me, not the people, the plants. So I have, my entire house is surrounded by things that were once ripe and rotting and are now green and growing. I take deep pride in that, right? In the care and the effort that it took to turn it around.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. That's my reason, and I stand by it.
Okay, you brought it up, so we gotta talk about it. What is your favorite plant? People don't have
favorite plant.
Yeah, but what's your favorite plant?
Oh, I don't know if I have a favorite plant. I really like them all. I'm biased about my plants. I'm a pretty avid gardener. I'm a big on vegetables and things like that. So I always got my hands in the dirt, I feel like.
What was the first thing that if you don't have a favorite plant, what was the first thing that you gardened successfully?
Basil. Basil and dill. Okay, so I know it's not like plants like house plants, but basil and dill are always my favorite. They're easy to grow. They give me a break. I've got a lot of finicky plants that take a lot of work, and I feel like basil and dill are like the easy, relaxed, no frills kind of guys. I can appreciate that kind of a friendship. I cook with them most often.
I love it.
So funny.
From the garden to the table.
Everybody should garden. At least try to grow something and fail, because you will. I've had plenty of plants die too for my 52 that are alive.
You have to work your way up to that point. So you gotta fail forward, as you said. Gotta fail forward.
Oh, good shout! I steal that phrase. I'm giving my friend Jacob Brown a shout out. Actually, he's a professional speaker who was once in the NFL and got cut, and he has built an entire career on this idea of failing forward. Anyway, so when I say it, I feel like I have to like hashtag him, because it's
hashtag
it's his thing.
Jacob Brown.
So look up Jacob Brown if you want some like inspiration. Also, very God-centered human.
Excellent. We love all humans, of course.
Right.
But like Jacob Brown.
Jacob Brown is preaching a God message too.
Okay. I thought this would be fun because of my research. Would you rather a day at the beach? Would you rather have a day at the beach, enjoy a day in the woods playing in the creek or stream, or hiking in the trails in the woods?
Is the beach an ocean?
It can be an ocean. It can be traverse. It can be wherever.
It can be whatever. Definitely, I'm an ocean person. I wanted to be a marine biologist when I was young. So I really wanted to track whales. And so anytime there's an ocean, you can find me nearby. Like if I'm anywhere within a 5-mile radius, I'm going to get as close to that water as I possibly can.
Yeah, I love being outside. I was an outside kid. I was always at the park, basketball, football, just myself, other random kids, my brothers, if they were open to hanging out. But, in my research, I saw you were definitely outdoorsy too. So I'm like,
More now than, so my husband, or my fiance rather, is very outdoorsy. Like he's a person that if he does not get outside for a 2-mile walk every day, he like can't function. And
even in the snow?
He hates the snow, but he does it. He goes and he snowboards and he sleds and he skis, and he's a surfer. I think I told you he surfs the Great Lakes, which you can only do in the winter. So it gets like crazy cold. Like he surfs next to like ice. It's crazy. Anyway, and he immigrated here from France, where it's beautiful and warm and sunny every day. So he drags me outside, and then when I'm out there, I always have a lot of fun. But usually, you can't get me past my garden, and so
he's why.
Unless there's an ocean, in which case you'll never get me inside. So,
right.
But he is an avid hiker and doer and goer. I'm like, all right, fine. And then I get out there. I'm like, I don't want to go back inside. It's terrible in there.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Well, that was Mind, Body, and Soul.
Love it.
Abby, I hope you enjoyed that. That was a lot of fun for me. Ladies and gentlemen, it's that time, unfortunately. Before we go, those of you who are joining us for the first time, this is literally as it sounds. Like before we go, I'm going to turn things over, give the keys to the car to Miss Abby here to share how to donate, how to subscribe, how to follow and volunteer, all the things supporting Spark in the Dark, Helplink, her missions and visions. And then, of course, we'll close out with closing remarks and so forth and so on. But before we go, Abigail, please tell the people how they can find you. This is like a shameless plug. All social medias for every business, your personals.
That's a lot of websites, man.
It'll be in the write-up. Don't you worry.
That'll be helpful. The best way to give, so if you're a company, which we didn't even get into, so funny. Helplink.
Can we get into that? We have to get into that.
Just for a quick second. So Helplink functions. It's a platform where people are able to post in times of need. We just totally we were so into all of it. And I was like, oh God, I never explained the logistics, which is very like me. And you can see it very easily by going to helplink.org. If you can't figure it out, we got different issues because it's super simple. You go to helplink.org/ask or give, depending on what you want to do. The way it works is when somebody is in need, they are actually able to go into the platform and post that need, whether that is diapers or a past due utility bill or fill in the blank. It's got there's a database of needs you can choose from that are all considered essential needs. So no televisions, no flat screen TVs, no Christmas tree lights, but like true needs that are going to make you happier, healthier, whole, right? So you go and you can post. And then people individually, like me and Joseph, can go donate $5-10 at a time until that need is met. Once the need has been fulfilled financially, Helplink actually goes out, purchases the item, ships it directly to the person in need, who then receives the item or has their bill paid. They then upload a thank you with an image of that item, expressing their gratitude to donors. And then that thank you goes out to everybody who donated. And so it's a very full loop. Donors know exactly where their money is going. They know who they've helped because giving should be personal. And on the other end, the person in need doesn't have to deal with barriers like their car is broken down and now you want them to go, pick up diapers at a pantry. It doesn't make any sense, right? So, or they're working or whatever it is. And so we remove that barrier by handling it directly. We never send money to anyone ever. It is all going to be goods and services. As a company, the way you get involved from your employee standpoint, you actually can pledge money every single month. So most of the companies we work with pledge around $1,000 a month. We actually have some really cool partnerships coming up that I can't talk about yet, but some really cool chains coming on board, like chain companies that are going to be using this. So the average company donates about $1,000 a month. They invite all of their employees to join the platform. And then if their employees ever have a need, they're able to actually post. And then that money from the company directly helps their employee first. It is all still charitable giving because it is going through Helplink, which is now a nonprofit with Spark in the Dark. And so they're sponsoring the needs. The money actually is kind of filtered through us. We make sure everything's good. We send your employee the item or pay that bill for them so that they can focus on work and not focus on whatever kind of problem or hurdle they have. It is working so well. We've paid past due car payments. We've paid car repair bills. We've paid for all kinds of things that would truly keep people from work. And the companies don't always realize that they're even paying for their employees because no matter what, that money goes out to the community. So if there's no employee needs, it's just going to go meet needs of your neighbors, which is double awesome. So essentially, we're inviting companies to kind of, make giving more strategic because as I told you earlier, you do not have a company without the people that work for you. You do not have money to donate without the people that work for you because you make no money without the people that work for you. And so we really are on a mission to challenge these companies. $1,000 a month is not a lot compared to what many companies donate. And so we're just asking that they kind of rethink the way that they give and start at home first. So I know, sorry that we totally buried the lead, but you got to wait to the end for the good stuff. Helplink.org is where you go to find all of that information. So helplink.org/businesses, but you'll be able to navigate the website and get to the app itself. As a company, I would love to talk to you. Please, get a hold of me. You can, again, find me through the website. I'll keep it nice and easy and direct. And then really the only other website is if you want me to come speak on things separate to, right? Just about culture and community and communication in general. I have a website. You ready? You're going to like it. It's speakkindness.com is my personal website where you can invite me to come and do events and whatnot. So helplink.org, speakkindness.com. all very on brand.
You heard it, ladies and gentlemen. Go get her. Go find her. Get your company involved. Get her on stage at your next whatever you need to get her on stage for, to learn how to communicate with kindness and with love. Any social medias? Do you Helplink have Instagram? It does have
Yeah,
it
so
does have a LinkedIn. I do know that.
Helplink has a LinkedIn and a Facebook. So you can find those there. And then if you're in the state of Michigan, it's entirely possible that there is a Spark in the Dark Facebook group near you. So that's that kind of hyper local peer-to-peer resource sharing if you prefer to use that. But that is truly kind of city by city. So.
Okay. Speakingwithkindness.org or .com?
.com. I went .com that one.
.com? .com girly.
Helplink.org.
.com girly. Helplink.org.
There you go. Helplink.org, speakkindness.com. I took both. Yeah.
She does it all, and she has incubators.
Don't try to contact them. They're still feral. Still working on 2 of them.
You got it.
She's coming along.
Yeah. I'm sure of it. Closing remarks, Abby. Anything that's just on your heart that you have for the people today. What's that message?
I think, same thing that's always on my heart, I think, is don't think, no matter what your life is kind of looking like right now, I would encourage you to remember that we always have something to give, even when we don't think that we do. And I would love, can I leave you on a fast story? Is that allowed? Sorry, I missed the closing remark. I'm supposed to stop talking. And I was the one that was like, oh yeah, let's keep it to an hour. Can't take me anywhere. I once had a woman who came to the Spark in the Dark group. She had messaged me privately asking me if I could approve her quickly, because she had been cutting up her own sweaters for her daughter, who was 12 months old, because she didn't have any clothes that fit her and she couldn't afford to buy any. And so she needed to come into the group to ask for 12-month baby clothes. And of course, me being me, I was like, yes, absolutely. Like, I'm waiting. It's 10 o'clock at night. I'm standing by my keyboard waiting for her to join the group, waiting for her to make the post so I can approve it before I go to bed. I approve her into the group, and then crickets. Nothing. I'm like, what is going on? The next day, I see that she still hasn't asked for anything. And so I message her. I'm like, hey, like, are you okay? Do you need my help? How can I help you? Right? Like, I want to make sure you get what you need. And this woman responded, and it is a lesson I will carry with me forever and ever, and the lesson I am passing on to all of you. She said, I came into the group getting ready to ask for help, right? I really needed help, and I got help. Somebody was able to donate some things to me. She's like, but before I could ask for help, I saw that a woman was asking for 6-month baby clothes. I have a whole box of 6-month baby clothes that I wasn't using and that I couldn't sell. And so I offered them to her. And what happened changed my whole life. It's like, okay, like, I'm listening. She's like, I came into this group feeling like I was not worthy. I couldn't even dress my own daughter. I had nothing to give, right? I came in feeling at my lowest point, the most embarrassed I have ever been in my whole life. And then there was a mom that I was 6 months ahead of that needed me as much as I needed somebody else. And I was suddenly valuable. I was suddenly able to do something for somebody that could do nothing for me. And I cannot tell you the way that you have restored my soul, right? Like, the ability to feel valuable again, the ability to realize that I do have something to give, even if I didn't realize it. And in life, I think sometimes we assume that we have nothing to give if we're not further ahead. And we can always be further ahead, right?
Yeah,
we can always be further ahead, but look how far we have come. So don't be shy to give, and don't be shy to offer what you have right now, because you've got a lot, right? You got a lot more than you realize. Show up to the world with that attitude, and I think it will get you very far.
That's the third time you had me over here crying.
Good. Good. It means you got a good soul.
Ladies and gentlemen, listen. You have something to give. You're valuable. You're worthy. You're worth it. Please, please, if you ever forget that, come back to the end of this episode and remember the closing remarks from our friend here. Because seriously, you are, we all are, but you are. You who's watching, you who's listening, you're valuable and you have so much to give. So, Abby, thank you for that. I had an absolute blast. I don't know about you. I had a blast. We'll leave that for your Google and Yelp review. But seriously, I am your all's host, Joseph Dunham, Joe D. Again, thank you for the first timers listening, watching this episode. We love that you were here. We're so grateful that you were here. Keep coming back, right? Be a part of our community. Be a part of our audience. Part of our family. So we are here at the Good Service Podcast. Helplink and Spark in the Dark. Abby, Dan, they're part of the family now. Locked in.
Thank goodness. Good family to be in.
So
thank you, Joseph.
You're welcome. You are welcome. Listen, we are not here. We don't work without you. So like, subscribe, repost, reshare all over the world. Refer. We're not going to touch all four corners of the world without you. We need you. And we love doing this with you. We love doing this for you, being your provider of good service through good news, good stories, wholesome news of the great things that the Abbeys of the world are doing for their community, for this world. So that's another excellent episode of the Good Service Podcast. I love you. We love you. And until next time, be well.